Welcome back to Never Enough Novels for a look at the best new books coming out in September. I have a variety of genres, including romance, fantasy, and thrillers to share with you today, and two of these books I've read already and absolutely loved, so I'm excited to dive into them. I'll put the links to all of these books down below in the description so you can grab any from Amazon if you're interested. Again, these are affiliate links, so if you click on the link and then purchase anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be a book. After clicking on it, it's no extra cost to you, and I earn a small commission, so it's really helpful for this channel. Let's kick it off with romance books, and the first one is Picture Perfect by Tessa Bailey. This is one of the two books that I recently finished, and it is just so good. I also love that the deluxe edition comes with these little softballs in the shape of hearts on the sprayed edges, which is just incredibly cute and so perfect for this book. I don't know how Tessa keeps writing books in this sports romance series that just get better and better, but this might be my new favorite. And I love that there are nods to the previous books in the series. So this is technically book 4, but they can very easily be read as standalones. So in this one, our main characters are Robbie and Skylar. And Robbie is a hockey player for a professional team, and he meets Skylar when his group of hockey guys challenge a group of local baseball players to a game, and their first meeting does not go very well. But Skylar needs some help getting the attention of her crush, which is actually her brother's best friend. And her and Robbie enter into this arrangement where he agrees to basically pretend to be her boyfriend to kind of make the other guy jealous and get him to notice Skylar. And Skylar invites Robbie along to her family's annual athletic competition that they host each year. So her crush is going to be there. So Robbie and Skylar go together and end up teaming up. And over the course of the week and a little bit longer, Robbie falls so hard for this girl. He is typically the classic player, so he has always gone through women like candy. But for some reason, there's something different about Skylar that has him down so bad for her. And I absolutely loved, as ridiculous as it was, seeing him completely change his ways and realize that this is the only woman for him. It's classic Tessa with some great banter, since there's definitely some animosity between Robbie and Skylar at the beginning, and I loved seeing their relationship change from just an arrangement for the benefit of them both to something that actually meant more to both of them. This was an easy 5 stars for me, and I can definitely recommend it. Next up is a book called Hot Desk by Laura Dickerman, and it's both a workplace romance and sort of a generational look at women who've worked in the publishing industry. So it's got a romance aspect, but it also has kind of a historical fiction and literary fiction aspect as well. This is about a mid-level editor at a New York City publishing house who finds herself sharing a desk with another editor as part of a hot desking situation that their publishing office turns to. Rebecca and Ben, who are now sharing a desk on alternating days, quickly descend from mild tension between them to passive-aggressive sabotage. Their rivalry heats up when a literary legend dies, and they're both scrambling to secure the rights to his unpublished work. And each of them has different personal connections to this legend. Rebecca is actually contacted by his widow, Rose, and she finds out that his widow was really good friends with her late mother. Meanwhile, Ben has a connection to this legend's son, so they are forced into this really intense rivalry. Then the narrative shifts back a couple of decades to 1982, and it dives into the friendship between Rebecca's mother, Jane, and this guy's widow, Rose, and how they both worked in the publishing industry back then. Their friendship unfolds during this glamorous yet gritty era of the publishing industry back then, and ultimately culminates in this life-altering event that took place during a blizzard in April. So these dual timelines explore intergenerational legacy, as well as the difficulties of being a woman in the publishing world, both a couple of decades ago and even in current day. Plus, you've got the present-day romance between Rebecca and Ben that starts off as this intense rivalry and workplace animosity, but softens into something more romantic. So I'm curious about this one because it isn't just a straight-up romance, but I love a good office romance no matter what, so I think it will be a really interesting take on the publishing industry with a dash of romance as well. The last book in the romance section of new releases for September is called People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young, and this is an author that I absolutely adore, so I'm thrilled to see another book coming out by her, and it seems like it'll be perfect for the fall. The cover is just absolutely adorable. Plus, the main character is someone that a lot of us can probably relate to. So she's basically an introvert who's quite content with her small town life and all of the routine she's built until a classic wanderer comes into town and shakes things up for her. So Prue's life is full of predictability and control, which is sort of a necessity because she's caring for her mother who has early onset Alzheimer's. But as her mother's condition kind of slowly worsens, and also Prue's own father starts expressing some concerns about her structured life, Prue starts to think that maybe it's time for some things to change. That all coincides with Milo rolling into town. So he is a typical nomad down to the beat up van, and he and Prue form like an unexpected bond by their contrasting lives. So one is extremely tethered and one is extremely untethered. Their friendship evolves into a wild and sexy agreement when Prue and Milo enter an arrangement. So Prue wants a little bit more experience in the intimacy department because she hasn't really had any before, and Milo finds himself drawn to her stability and her kindness. And as they sort of get to know each other and push each other's boundaries a little bit, their arrangement deepens into this emotional connection that neither of them expected. Then moving on to mysteries and thrillers, the first one is The Wasp Trap by Mark Edwards, and this is another one that I just recently finished. I literally stayed up until like 11 p.m. reading the last 100 chapters of this book because I was completely hooked on it. It was exactly the fast-paced, page-turning thriller that I've been hoping for, and I was so happy that it absolutely delivered all the way up through the ending. So this is about 6 former colleagues who attend a dinner party together, and things take a turn for the worse. So while they're at this dinner party, 2 people come in and basically take them hostage, and they tell them that they need to figure out some secret from the year that they spent working together a couple decades ago, and if they don't reveal the secret, then they will have to vote on who's going to die one by one. The story takes place in dual timelines, so it switches back and forth between the present day with this intense like hostage situation, and then also goes back in time to a couple of decades ago when these 6 people worked together on an app. So they were developing a dating app that was meant to look at your personality and match you with the right people. But on the side, they also decided to work on this test that would identify a psychopath. So over the course of the book, the secrets from that summer are slowly revealed, leaving the reader desperate for more. Sometimes these books that jump back and forth in time can be a little bit more slow-paced because you're kind of unraveling all of the events from a previous timeline, but this one did a great job with the pacing, so I was invested from start to finish. There's enough action going on in present day as well as back then to keep you absolutely hooked, and the way this all wrapped up took me totally by surprise. It was extremely satisfying. Sometimes I also get frustrated with thrillers because it feels like there's all of this tension and development, and then the reveal at the end is just kind of like, not very exciting. Not the case with this one. I was blown away by the ending and cannot recommend this thriller highly enough. If you're looking more for a spooky murder mystery Halloween vibes, the next book is called No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. And this one actually takes place in like a Halloween obsessed town. So it's a perfect must-read for this time of year. It's about a forensic pathologist who returns home after her father goes missing. And he was a former US senator, so his disappearance is making waves, and his last words to her were, "Trust no one." Now Dolores must unravel the clues that were leading to her father's disappearance, as well as confronting painful family estrangements in this town and resurfacing buried traumas, all in this small town where it seems like everyone has something to hide. On top of all this specific town has a long history of brutal deaths tied into its Halloween celebrations, and October 31st is quickly approaching. This is a debut novel, but it's receiving rave reviews from early readers, and she's really leaning into that like eerie Halloween vibe, so I think this is going to be a fun, spooky mystery. Next up is a thriller that's set in the world of like authors and publishing, which I think is kind of a unique twist on this genre. The book is called All This Could Be Yours by Hank Philippi Ryan, and it's about an author named Tessa Calloway who is on this packed house book tour for her best-selling novel. So while she is out with her adoring fans, her family and her husband are supporting her from afar at their dream house. But as the tour continues, Tessa realizes that she's being stalked by someone who not only wants to ruin her career, but also seems to want to ruin her entire family. So now she's involved in this like cat and mouse game with the absolute highest of stakes. And every decision kind of has an impact, and a deal that she made a long time ago seems to be coming back to haunt her. I'm always interested in books set in the publishing world, so I'm hoping this kind of darker, behind-the-scenes take on being an author will live up to my expectations. And the last book I wanted to share today is from the fantasy genre. It's called Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, and this is set in the richly imagined universe of the Divine Rivals series. So if you've read that series already or heard of it, you're kind of getting a book that's within the same universe, but it can definitely be read as a standalone as well. So this one is kind of a prequel to the lore that is now involved in that other series. And it's about Matilda, who is the youngest goddess of her clan, and she's born in the firelit underrealm, and she's blessed with modest yet vital messenger magic, so she actually has the ability to traverse realms delivering messages. Matilda is sort of navigating the brutal politics of gods, and when alliances shift and betrayals end up being deadly, she realizes that she must hide this dangerous secret that she owns, that even her closest allies must never discover. Meanwhile, our other character is Vincent, and he is now a hardened mortal lord. So he's haunted by a goddess that once communes with him through his dreams, and 10 years ago he asked her for aid at his darkest hour, but received no answer. But now, during our current timeline, Matilda appears at his window bearing a crucial letter. Their reunion forces both the divine gods and mortals to confront their fate, and over time the novel asks the question about whether love can transcend the chasm between these worlds. Divine Rivals is one of my most recommended fantasy duologies, so I'm really excited that with this book we're getting a little bit more of the world building and seeing more of the gods aspect in this world that she's created. That wraps up all the best new books I'm recommending for September. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel to see even more book recommendations in the future.